Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Shelly Speaks Truth right here on 2rawfortv.tv. Now, as we usually do in the beginning of the show, we do stream from a few other platforms, and I believe that is Instagram, possibly Facebook, and
Facebook.
maybe X,
No,
formerly known as Twitter.
no Twitter today. You got YouTube.
Okay, no Twitter today, no X today, but definitely Instagram. I know for sure we should be streaming on Instagram as well.
You got
And if you
Instagram.
are watching on Instagram, you're only going to have us for a little while. So if you do want to see the duration of the show, you will have to come over to 2rawfortv.tv. That is the number two, raw, the number four, tv.tv. Now, man, where do I even begin? Because this week has been a windfall of things just happening back to back to back.
Hold on. You should probably
Um,
start by shouting out YouTube and Facebook also because they also with you too.
oh, okay. We're also with YouTube and Facebook. So shout out to YouTube and Facebook. Again, you'll only have us for a little while on those platforms. So you will have to come on over to 2rawfortv.tv for the duration of the show. Now, as I was saying, there has been numerous occurrences happening this week. And I guess I will just dive right into one that has taken the recent headlines this week, and that is Diddy's indictment. Yes, Diddy has been arrested, as many of you may know. If you don't know, you could be living under a rock. But if you are, at least a little bit conscious, you do know that Diddy has been arrested this week and hit with a federal indictment. And some of those charges, man, these are some serious charges that Diddy is facing. And people have been saying for several months now that they felt like an arrest was coming. When all of this stuff first broke last year, some people thought this was going to be, a civil suit. He was going to pay off his ex girlfriend, and then I guess, he would just go on with business as usual. But that is not what happened in the least bit. And recently, within the past 2 days, I believe it was 2 days ago, he was arrested in New York. And he has been charged with some pretty serious crimes, including racketeering. They hit him with a RICO because RICO, as of late, has just been seen, has been a charge that everybody's getting hit with. So, of course, RICO and transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, of course, social media has been on fire the past couple of days in regards to these allegations and this arrest. And the latest information that I have on this story is that he has not been given a bond. So this is seeming strikingly similar to the R. Kelly situation, to where he may be facing some serious time in this situation because, again, he has serious charges. And the whole thing with him not having a bond is what raises my antennas because, like I said, I feel that this case is going to be pretty similar to what we all seen happen with R. Kelly. And it's my understanding that R. Kelly has 30 years. I believe he'll probably get out before that, but I believe as it stands right now, he has about between 27 to 30 years. So yeah, I guess we are all witnessing the beginning to the ending of a empire. Diddy has been a mogul in the music business and just in business in general for the past 30 plus years. And, you know, to be very honest, I can't I can't sit here and say that I necessarily feel sorry for him because for the longest amount of time, there's been accusations of Diddy just doing terrible things to people. not just with the sexual allegations, but allegations of horrible business dealings with people that have been associated with his record labels. A lot of people make the point that majority of Diddy's artists are dead broke right now. You have the few that are, still doing pretty well. You have the Maces of the world, and I believe it was man, it's been so long I can't even really remember the name of that group. Was it the Locks? I think it was the Locks, the group that Jadakiss was in. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the name of that group was the Locks.
Yep.
They were pretty big back in the 90s and early 2000s. Was it the Locks? Was
Yes, it
the
was.
Locks the name of the group?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the Locks. They actually ended up having to sue Diddy for millions of dollars in royalties that were owed to them. So, Diddy does not even have a good reputation as it relates to his business dealings with people. I was listening to a stream earlier where one of his artists, former artists, by the name of Dawn Richards, I believe it is, she was in the group Danity Kane, and a friend of an associate that she had business dealings with. The young woman was saying that Dawn just continued to say all it was her dream to buy her family a home. And the young lady was saying, to her, what do you mean buy your family a home? You're on tour right now. You're on tour with Diddy and you can't afford to buy a house. So again, Diddy does not have the best reputation, a very shaky past. We've all had a glimpse into the abuse with the video that surfaced. So I don't know. As they say, every dog has its day, and karma, in many instances, will come back around. A lot of people have been saying, especially on the spiritual side of things, they've been saying that he's facing some serious karmic debts right now, and this is just the beginning, unfortunately, of a windfall of problems for him. And the sad thing about it is Diddy has three daughters. He has three daughters. I believe he has two or three sons, and he just recently had a baby last year. So I can only imagine how humiliating and hurtful this must be for his children to see him going through this. His family in general. The hurt that comes along with watching your parent be in the middle of controversy and facing serious allegations such as these charges that he's facing right now. So again, I'm not here to gloat. A lot of people are happy that he's been arrested, and I'm not going to condemn them because, like I said, he has a very shaky history of the way he has treated people. So again, I don't feel sorry for him, but I'm also not going to gloat and laugh or whatever the case may be because it's a really sad and serious situation. And again, he does have children. He has a family, and I can only imagine how much they must be hurting right now. So it's the thing with me where I feel really bad for his family, not so much him, but really bad for his children in general. Like I said, he has two teenage daughters, and they're hearing some very hurtful and harmful things that their father has done to women. And I know that must be very difficult for them to be exposed to all of that. So again, you know, he put himself in this situation. So, when you engage in these types of activities, you make yourself subjectable to this type of outcome. And one of the other very interesting things about this case is one of the record executives that were initially included in these cases has been removed from the cases. His name doesn't come to my mind right now, but I believe he was one of the executives at either Sony or Universal. But it doesn't come as a surprise to me that he has been removed from these cases because he is one of the people that is heavily connected. So you have a situation like Diddy, where Diddy was a very, like I said, he was a mogul in the business, But where I feel like he fell short was he thought that because he was in proximity to these people who are heavily connected to the people in power in this world, I think that he may have been a little bit disillusioned by thinking that he had parity to these people, because the reality of the matter is when things get hot, he's the low hanging fruit of the bunch and he'll be thrown under the bus first. Now, some information that I became privy to about this executive that was taken off the cases is that he was knighted by the British Crown. So again, people who are very, very well connected, very heavily connected to powerful people. And again, it's not a surprise that he was removed from these cases, but it's sickening to me that the people who really, really, really will keep this type of behavior going, because they'll just find another ditty. They'll find another ditty to do their bidding, and will they ever face consequences? It doesn't really appear that they will. Hopefully they will one day. One day, hopefully, all of this stuff will come to a head for good, and there will be consequences for people who feel that they are untouchable. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing those people who hide behind the front men like Diddy. I'm looking for them to face some type of consequences as well, because again, if you don't take down the people at the top, the cycle just continues. And it's just been horrible, the things that have been happening. This stuff extends beyond the record industry. Again, there's charges of sex trafficking. I'm sure there's some human trafficking in there too, because that's one of the things that Cassie had in her lawsuit. You know, people being transported to do nefarious things, and again, these are some very serious charges. And my heart just goes out to his family. I will say that my heart goes out to his children, his daughters, who have to see, their father going through this. And, you know, they may lose their father, because I feel like he is going to be in prison for a very long time. I do see this going the way of how things ended up panning out for R. Kelly. Um, So again, that's the news for Diddy this week. We've seen those charges come in. Again, he does not have a bond. Maybe he'll get one in the future, but probably not, because these are some pretty serious charges. And we've seen what has happened with rapper Young Thug. He's been in jail the entire time. His trial has been going on. So again, will he get a bond? I guess that's yet to be seen. Okay. So, in news this week, we all know that there was a second attempt at Trump's life. Um, he was shot at. He was not shot, but he was on his golf course, and reports are saying that that was an impromptu visit to the golf course. Supposedly, no one knew that he would be there. It wasn't something that was made public, but somehow a shooter was able to stake out there at the golf court and fire off several shots at him.
No, no,
Now the shooter
no, babe, no,
was shot.
no. Yeah, he didn't get off any
I can't
shots.
hear you.
He didn't get off any
Huh?
shots. He did not get off any shots. The shooter,
So
he was
so the
just,
gunfire was coming from. Okay, okay, I must have gotten that mixed. The gunfire was coming from the Secret Service,
yes.
because I guess there's varying reports that said that well, initially, because when it first happened, they didn't have all the details. So, okay, you're saying that he wasn't able to get off any shots, but the Secret Service was able to get off shots towards him.
Yeah, they killed him.
Now, what did you say?
They killed him.
No, the second shooter was not killed. This
Or
second
sorry,
shooter was
no,
taken
no,
into
sorry.
custody.
Yeah, they shot at him, causing him to run, and they got him in
Yeah,
custody.
he fled the scene. He fled the scene. There was a witness who was able to get his tag number, and he was later captured on the highway, I believe it was.
Yeah, but he
Um,
didn't actually shoot at Trump. He wasn't in even in firing vicinity of Trump. He was like 500 yards away.
this whole um this whole situation is weird to me. And you have a lot of people saying that these are staged events. I mean, the people who don't like Trump, the first time it happened, they said staged. This time around, they're saying staged. And the people that's saying staged, I'm confused by what what is making them feel like these are staged
Hold
events.
on. Shout outs to
Because
Dominic. Hold on one second. Shout outs to Dominic on Facebook. He said it was two. Two what? What do you two what, Dominic? Go ahead.
yeah, so again, it's confusing to me why people are saying that these are staged events. I don't really, just in my mind, I don't really see any reason why he would stage these events. Um, there's all types of reports coming out that's saying Kamala Harris is very likely to lose this election. So if people are saying he wants to gain sympathy from the public, I mean, he already has an overwhelming amount of support from the public. So that theory doesn't really make any sense.
Well, at the end
And,
of the day,
you know,
here's what. At the end of the day, there is half of America, right, out there talking about how this person is Hitler and this person needs to be stopped. And like this is going to happen if every day you hear Hitler's out here, he's going to take over the country, he's going to be a dictator, your life is screwed. Somebody is going to say, hey, I need to get rid of this guy.
yeah, I could see that. I could see that, but I think that is, I don't know. Like I said, when this second attempt happened, the first time my mind automatically went to conspiracy. And I know people don't like to do conspiracies because they're like that is not substantiated, and I get that. But there's a lot of things that Trump planned. Well, not a lot. I'll say there's one main thing that Trump continuously talks about that he wants to implement, and that's closing the border and deportation. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the host made a valid point. He was saying on two key issues, the wars and the border. He was saying that what people really are not paying attention to or really, talking about is the fact that there's a lot of corporations and big money makers who stand to gain a lot from this immigration issue because they are getting a lot of cheap labor and they're replacing a lot of Americans in the workforce with these immigrants. And, if he's talking about mass deportations and closing down the border, he's cutting off people's money flow. The same thing with the wars. War is big business. And there's a lot of money being handed out for these wars. There's a lot of, gun manufacturers and all these people that manufacture weapons that their money supply is going to be cut short as well.
Yeah, and
So
it's not only
there's
weapons. You got the weapons. You got the logistics. You got vehicle makers. You got tire makers. You got a little bit of every. You got doggone people that supply the kitchen. I mean, everything. Everything you think in life. Everything that you think that makes life move. When there's a war, that's needed at war, and somebody is
yeah.
making
So I
money off of
mean,
it.
right there's a number of things that could be causing these. assassination attempts. I mean, that is the for me the them calling him Hitler and all this other stuff. That would be the most, I guess, simple explanation for it because Trump was president for 4 years and he was getting hammered in the media every day and nobody tried to kill him.
Yeah.
So again, that's
So Dominic agrees with you. He said yes, they are trying to replace us, and replace our vote. So let me ask you, Dominic, when you say they, who is the they? Right. That's the question of the day. Who is the they? Who is that? Go ahead, Biz.
yeah. So like I was saying, Trump. What I remember how hard Trump was getting hammered in the media because when my mom was still here, rest her soul, she would be watching the Roland Martins of the world and people like that every morning, and they couldn't stand Trump. So, I mean, he was getting smeared in the media on a daily basis during his term, and no one was shooting at him. I mean, I know he was the president, but still, people have attempted to shoot presidents and have shot and killed presidents in this country. So the
So,
thing of him being, um, you know, call names and the media hammering him in these ways, that's nothing new.
but this the thing
So
is it's tenfold now, right? When he was president, they weren't talking about him being a dictator. He was president, right? And he was
yeah,
that
but
wasn't the
they were
word.
talking
When
about him. Okay.
when the dictator talk and all of that started was after his first term when he decided to to rerun for president, right? That's when it got
Mhm.
really sticky, and it's just been getting progressively worse. And now, I heard somebody say the other day, and I believe it's very true. We are now living in a assassination society where assassinations are okay.
How so? How so?
We just had
I
two
don't.
in
I
two
don't know. I don't
months.
think
Okay, so listen.
assassinations are ever okay.
Okay, think about it. Think about it though. Think about it. Now, you've lived how long? When have you ever heard of an assassination attempt in your lifetime?
Well, I'm only 21, so I haven't been around that long. But in all seriousness, I haven't heard of any
There's been
in
two in the
my
last two
lifetime.
months. There's been two in the last 2 months. I haven't heard one in my lifetime either.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's okay. But
Let me ask
well,
you this.
you
Let me.
know what? You know what? I see where you're coming from with that because thi- I guess with Trump it's okay because there's no more decorum
It's kind of
as it
like everything
relates to
else.
how people, huh?
It's kind of like everything else. It's like I always say. Sexual assault is only sexual assault if it's coming from a person the assaultee does not like. Right. No,
I
no, no.
don't know about
No.
that.
Yeah. Unless
No,
unless there's
no, 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 no,
come on, tell me.
no.
Tell me.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly, but what I will say is I would be more inclined to say not sexual assault because sexual assault is something completely different.
Okay, sexual
Sexual
assault was the
assault,
wrong. Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say
It's perfect.
sexual harassment. A lot of
Right.
people
That's
say
what that's what I meant.
sexual harassment is only sexual harassment when it's coming from someone that you're not attracted to and stuff like that.
But now the
And I
harassment
could
now
kind of go along with that. I could kind of go with that. Not
now
for
they're
me.
saying that harassment is assault.
So,
We've crossed
well,
that level now.
so if you say something to somebody, you assaulted them?
Yeah, that's where we are now, right now.
Oh no,
Free speech
I
is
don't
out
go
of the
along with
window.
that. Yeah, I'm not in agreement with that. I don't feel like if
Um,
someone says something to you that you don't like, they assaulted you, like physically. No, I can't get with that.
well,
But
that's because
even
you
sexual
came from
harassment is not okay. I mean,
right, but like I said, like I said, it only comes. It's only sexual harassment if it's coming from someone that you don't want it to come from.
in many cases, because it could get to a point where, you flirt with somebody, but then they cross the line with saying things that you don't appreciate. And it doesn't matter if they're attractive. You don't like what they're saying to you, it makes you uncomfortable, then it's still sexual harassment. Even if you were okay with it at some point before that. And I think that's where the lines get blurred. People don't know when to cut things off. Just because someone was okay with something at some point doesn't mean they're always going to be okay with it. But anyway, that's kind of veering off topic a little bit, but I understand what you're saying. But as far as the assassination thing, I personally feel like it's only okay when we're talking about Donald Trump. If this was
Right.
Kamala Harris that people were shooting at, it would be an outrage.
So
It would be a complete outrage.
it would be an outrage on the Democratic side. I'm not going to give the Republicans no bly here because they would act the same damn way. Because this is the society we're
I mean,
living in right now. They would act the
I
same
guess you
damn
could say
way
that. I guess you could say that.
because we're
I
living.
guess you could
This is the
say that.
society. This is the society. This is a
Yeah,
these
yeah, it is kind of like a pick a side type of society right now,
right.
where you got, I mean, where it's this side against that side, and people don't care about being belligerent and violent with each other. I mean, Trump said it at the debate, basically like, hey, these people came after me and used lawfare against me. They used the legal system against their political opponent. So it's, I mean, I guess everything is pretty much fair game. It's a very dangerous situation, though. It's a very dangerous society to be living in, where people are okay with their political opponents being shot at. People are okay with people who they disagree with politically being harmed. I
Silenced,
don't go along with
being
that.
persecuted
Yeah,
by the
I
law.
don't go along with it.
Like
Right,
to
right,
me,
right,
okay, so
right.
and I always got to come back to this because I was lucky enough to be born and raised, well, not raised, but uh, able to see a part of life in a third world country, right? And I remember things like election time where as a child you're getting held home, not you can't go to school because of fears, or God forbid somebody might kidnap you and make your family vote in one way or another, or somebody might kidnap you and bring you home at gunpoint so they could hold up the whole family and make sure that the vote is going the way that the political party that's supplying these gunmen, right? So I was lucky enough to see that and remember that, and coming to these United States and seeing this freedom to where elections is something that we could even celebrate at the school level, right? To where in fifth grade, we the election was going on in real time. We had a mock election going on at the school, right? It was a popularity contest, but nevertheless, the elections were being celebrated, right? That's the freedom that this country uh, embodied, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
great thing coming from somebody from a third world country. Looking at the complete contrast, and then I remember fast forward. All of a sudden now, Obama puts his hand in the ring, and it's like, wow, everybody can people. I myself, I couldn't vote at the time, I wasn't a citizen yet, but I had doggone posters on my car. You need a ride to go vote?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that first Obama term, a lot of people were energized to get out there and vote.
But now I'm looking at it and I'm seeing similarities to the third world country that I came from years ago.
Yeah, because I mean, don't get me wrong. American elections, they were able to be more, I guess you could say, dignified and diplomatic, but the corruption was still rampant. What we see, what we're witnessing now is that the corruption is so much at a point where it's for me, for me especially, it's so much so to a point where they can't really cover it up and provide some type of illusion of togetherness, and we may have our differences, but we're still going to uphold some sort of standard.
Real quick, hold that
Now
thought.
it's
Hold that
just
thought. Hold that thought. Real quick. Real quick. Real quick. We've went a half hour, a whole half hour on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Y'all cut it out. Y'all done got away with murder today. Y'all got away with murder today, right? With